It's not your average planting of 200,000 oysters. This one marks the celebration of a partnership between the Smithsonian Environmental Research Center, known as SERC, and Chesapeake Bay Foundation.
After more than 20 years at our original location in Shadyside, Maryland, we did move our oyster operations here to the campus of SERC on the beautiful Road River, and we're really excited for this next chapter for our program.
That program hopes to move oyster research to the next level. CBF moved the Oyster Restoration Center to the SERC campus in Edgewater as a way to access their upgraded facilities for monitoring oyster reefs,
but also learning how to monitor other ecosystem services that those oyster reefs are providing, things like habitat for fish, crabs, and other species, water filtration, how those oyster reefs are contributing or not to disease resistance in the Chesapeake Bay.
CBF's Maryland Senior Fisheries Scientist Allison Colden says here's why we should care about oysters. The tanks show water from the Road River.
These oysters were placed into this tank about 2 hours ago. So in just 2 hours time, they have completely filtered the water in that tank, and you can see the difference in clarity between the tank without oysters and the tank with oysters. The water here is much clearer because those oysters have filtered out any algae and sediment that may have been floating in the water.
Colden will work with Matt Ogburn, a marine ecologist at SERC.
For the research side, this gives us a really good opportunity to work closely to make sure that when there are new reefs that are restored, we can design the research ahead of time and collect preliminary information to really understand what the areas are like where reefs are being restored. Some of the oyster reefs that have been built over the last 5 to 10 years, like Harris Creek in the Choptank River, they still look really well. So we've been out to that reef, that particular set of reefs in Harris Creek in 2017, 2019, and 2021. And all of those places that looked good in 2017 are still looking good.
He showed us one way they monitor up to 75 sites in a day using a cage with lines and GoPro cameras attached.
And what we've really been seeing is that if you're on a reef that's harvested, there tend to be a lot of oysters there, but they're sort of flat, laying on the bottom. But the oyster reefs that are restored and protected in oyster sanctuaries the oysters start growing on top of each other and forming structure that allows for oysters to live there, but also provides a lot of habitat for things like crabs and fish and other species to also live on the reef.
This is now the new home for CBF's restoration vessel, the Patricia Campbell. 2 oyster setting tanks were also placed in this location. This is where they get baby oysters onto shell.
I would love to learn more and work with SERC to learn more about how we do oyster restoration most effectively in areas that are either lacking habitat or lacking oyster populations that are naturally reproducing.
The reef near SERC's dock was planted in 2006. Adding oysters here will help them test technology before heading out to other areas of the bay. For Chesapeake Bay Media's Bay Bulletin, I'm Cheryl Costello.